Hey everyone, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to film something to kind of relieve some of the anxiety that I am having. It is Wednesday afternoon and this is coming out on Thursday. So by the time this comes out, I will probably already be headed to the airport for the San Francisco Pen Show. And there are some things that I am anxious about that I want to get down on paper, but also because I've had a few people ask me for some tips when it comes to their very first pen show or how to even navigate the San Francisco Pen Show. Sorry, got interrupted by a phone call. Basically, I wanted to set out my plans for the San Francisco Pen Show in hopes that maybe this can help anyone who is attending a show. I've seen other people do their videos, like Simona and Maria Rousseau do their plans for the pen show, and I think it's so great to lay it out like this. One, to just get all of my thoughts on paper so I don't feel like I have to just constantly go through my head of I need to do this, I need to do this. So this is a Hobonichi A6 notebook that somebody from the Pacific Northwest show kindly gave to me, so I thought I would use it as my pen show notebook. And I've written in here just a few things that I want to keep track of. So firstly, the San Francisco Pen Show, and it's almost going to be like a themed pen show book. But basically what I've written down here first is the schedule. So I haven't written down the hours of the show. I've only written down the things that I am scheduled for, things that I want to remember. So for example, I have the basic nib care and tuning class from 9:30 to 12:30. I'm actually now regretting choosing that time because the hours of 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. are just for those with the all access passes, and it's before the general public comes in. So I wish I had chosen the afternoon time for that instead of the morning so that I could have more time just as an all access pass attendee. But that's okay. I will know for next time. And then in the afternoon between 4 and 5, there's a pen posse or a swap D-stash. So it could be a good place to get rid of some things. Yeah, I think there's actually a large thing of items that I want to get rid of, and I think this is a good place to do it. Then I haven't written down like plans for dinner on Friday night or anything, but then Saturday, the all access starts at 8 o'clock. I will probably be in line from 7:30. And then at 9:30, I have an appointment with Kirk Spear. And then in the afternoon, I have a nib grinding workshop from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So these are really the things that are scheduled, things that I'm not putting, friend meetups here, anything, just because it is that I don't necessarily want to schedule. I want to be flexible with that. And then Sunday, the all access is between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then there's also a Bay Area planners meetup from 9 to 11. So these are the things that from the San Francisco Pen Show website I have kept track of, but also the classes that I signed up for ahead of time. I'm really excited for the basic nib care and tuning as well as nib grinding. I just find that so fascinating, but also to be able to do that to my own pens and be confident doing it, I think is just going to be a great skill to have. Then I have a to buy and to try, and these are, in terms of to buy, my list actually isn't that long. I say that it used to be that long, but anyway, I want to pick up a tote bag from Tokubetsu Mori. There is a nib holder from River City Pen Company that I am picking up, but I also may look at some other pens that are at his table. I also want to go to Yamamoto Paper and pick up some Bank Aerofull Cosmo Air and just see what the selection is for that. I'm also thinking of getting a steel Kakimori nib, but we will see. And then there are some items that I want to pick up. So I have to actually pick up a pen from River City Pen Co. that I purchased in DC. No, I was not in DC, but it was actually, I saw this on Lucky Star Pens Instagram, and it was, I believe, a DC Pen Show exclusive, and it was a beautiful pen. it was a very spontaneous purchase done over Instagram within an hour. So I'm going to be picking that up from Rich of River City Pen Co. I've already purchased the San Francisco Musette bag from Rickshaw, so I'll be picking that up. I also purchased an Esterbrook Model J in the violet. This was on my list to buy at the pen show, but then it came on offer at Atlas, and I decided to buy it and get it sent to my hotel. And then I also want to pick up some of the Robert Oster exclusive ink and some stickers from Brendan of Atlas Stationers. So those are things I need to watch out for or to pick up. And then I have on this page things that I want to try. This list is actually smaller than my list from last year. I was going to see if I can find it. But my list from last year, I had things that I wanted to try. For example, I wanted to try Pelikan M800. I wanted to try a Leonardo Momento Zero. I wanted to try all the Pilot nibs. So now that's out of my system, I feel like I can try other things. Like I tried the nib from Shown Design. Whereas this year, it's not so prescribed what I'm doing, because last year I had more of a plan. This year I'm like, oh, I want to just look at the Franklin Christoph table and see what's there and try out some of the other models. I do want to try another Scribo in my hand. I won't be buying a Scribo at the pen show. That one will require a lot more saving up for should I decide that it's for me. I do want to try the Magna Carta Mag 600 and see if that pen works for me in terms of like the flex nib. I also want to try a Sailor King of Pens and see if I like that size. And then I also want to go to Anderillium Inks. Actually, one of the owners of Anderillium Inks reached out to me and they said they were going to be at the San Francisco Pen Show, so I want to go up and speak to them. So again, not a ton of stuff that I want to try, but this list here doesn't necessarily mean I'm just going to these tables. This is more just a checklist to make sure that I do actually check these off, and these are things that I do end up trying, because I don't normally have the opportunity to try a Scribo or a Magna Carta. So by putting this on the list, I'm ensuring that I actually do that. And then I will use this page to write down my experiences with each of these so that I have a place to look back on and say, oh, you know what, the Magna Carta was actually really great or was not great. And then that way I will have a reference for the future should I decide to buy or not buy. Then, nib grinds. I have an appointment with Kirk Spear on Saturday morning, and I'm looking forward to that. One, to see him because just he's so great, and because he works so quickly and he's so great. The last time I saw him was at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show, and he worked on a few pens for me, including my Pelikan M1000 with now the needle point. And it's such a great writer. I love it. So I want him to work on 3 different pens for me, which I'll grab here. So I'm gonna have him work on my Leonardo Momento Zero, and this is in the Via Latea. I thought I would put a monoline on this. It's an extra fine, so it already writes really fine, but I just thought putting a monoline on it would just ensure that it's got basically an even nib width, and there's no issues with that writing or anything. So I want to give that one because it's such a beautiful pen and I want to give it something special. Then I also want to take this in and get this fine nib ground down to an extra fine, because I already have another Waterman. Oh, there's Lucy, video coming out on Saturday. I have another Waterman that came in with a fine nib. I want to grind this down to an extra fine, so I have that nib variation there. And then for the quirky leaf, I got a medium nib with this, and I want to get this ground into a reverse architect with an extra fine, because I am having so much fun with the one that Gina made me at the Pacific Northwest show that I want to put that on another pen. And within half an hour, Kirk can get through these and probably another 1 or 2. So half an hour is definitely more than enough time. And This page will also allow me the opportunity to try all the nib grinds at his table, and I'll make notes on each of those to see whether I like it, because last year when I took notes of the nibs that I liked, well, I didn't even really take notes on the nibs that I liked. Let me find it here. Like all my San Francisco Pen Show stuff. Like I got all the stamps and everything. But then I did all of the pen testing and I didn't really write down what I thought of each one. So I look back on this and I think, what? What was I doing? Did I, well, here I said I loved the needlepoint. So I don't know. I don't know. This is why I want to take proper notes. Ooh, yeah, and I remember trying the scribe nib and yeah. Okay. So like from and all the stickers and anyway. So that really is my, I guess, plan. I didn't write down a budget here. I do have a budget. I already have the cash taken out. What I want to basically, what I basically want to say is that when it comes to a pen show, one of the things that I've done is I printed off a map of all the vendors, and I've written down the vendors that I want to go visit. The website normally has a list of all of the vendors and where they are, but the San Francisco Pen Show website didn't have links to their shops or anything, or even their social media. So somebody in Simona's Discord group actually did all the legwork for that, which was amazing. And I'll see if I can include that link in the description. If not, I do apologize. But having the show map and vendor list beforehand helps me to really position myself in terms of, okay, I need to make sure that I do visit this room because that's where Yamamoto is, and this is where Mayfair is, or Andorrelium. So having this just gives me some perspective as to where everything is and gives me an expectation as to, you know, like what I'm looking for. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm not going to visit the rest of the show. I'm there for 3 days, so I get to have a bit more flexibility in what I can see and do because I do have more time. Last year I only had the 1 day, so I had to be very, very intentional about where I was going and what I was doing. So this year I feel like is a little bit more relaxed because, you know, I may not be there for all of Friday afternoon because Friday afternoon is normally so crazy busy. I may be there for part of it, but not all of it. And then I'll be there definitely Saturday morning and Sunday morning. But that gives me a little bit more time to I'll do the things that I need to do, but then just mosey on about. But I also want to attend this show because there'll be people that I haven't seen since last year's show, or new friends that I've never met and will be able to meet at this show. So the thing with preparing for a fountain pen show like this is that I think having a list of all the vendors is really helpful so that you can do some research beforehand to see if there is any specific vendor you want to try or want to look out for. I also think having a budget is really, really helpful if you are limited on funds. Most, if not all places will take cash, but there are a lot of places that also take card. However, you have to think about if they're taking card, they also have to take into account credit card fees and possibly taxes, whereas cash, they may not have to. So think about that as well. And then in terms of some pen show etiquette, I say etiquette and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just say, you know, just some manners that we have to be mindful of. All of these vendors are so happy to answer your questions when it comes to their pens. So please don't hesitate to ask them about how they make the pens, why they decided to do it that way, what's a good nib size. So many of them are so happy to talk to you about that. And then if there are pens there on the table, always ask before you pick them up. And most vendors will be like, oh yeah, absolutely, don't you worry. Whereas some are a little bit more particular. So make sure to ask, and then always assume that the pen is a screw cap, not, oh gosh, I don't even Do we even have one? Assume most pens are a screw cap, not a... Do we even have one other than the Lamy 2000? Yeah, but just assume that all of the pens are screw caps. But otherwise, have fun, take breaks, bring water. And for the San Francisco Pen Show, it is going to be very busy. I will be wearing a mask, but also have hand sanitizer with me. I think masking up is really important, but also washing your hands and having hand sanitizer is really important as well. Whew. All right. I feel like now getting that out and getting that sorted is going to help me feel a lot better about leaving tomorrow. There's still a lot of stuff for me to do tonight before I leave, but yeah, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any other questions, or if you think this was helpful, please let me know down below. Ooh, one thing I forgot to add is that if you see people, most of them are so happy to say hi to you. If you see me, please come and say hi. I may not recognize you. I may just know your name on Instagram or name on YouTube, but if you see me, please come and say hi. I'm so excited to see people. I'm an introvert, but when it comes to pen shows, I feel so energized around all the people who have the same interests as me. So please come say hi. Let's take a picture. Sign my book. So yeah, that's what I'm super excited for. Okay, that's it. All right, thanks so much. Have a great day.